جير بس ماشي. ايس كريم اسمه شو المهندس خلص لك دول ابو صفر بقول من بدري والله جير انت عارف افتح بقى الملف عشان
مفيش غير واحد. ايه مش حد دخل.
يخش يبقى البراند بتاعته واعمل العام صح الشام صح.
ايه ماشي. لسه سمعت انفيتيشن.
كذا كذا
لسه ايه Okay. Good morning, my student. Today we are going to talk about the momentum. Okay, the next chapter of our physics. Okay, for this term, and this is the first online chapter we are going to study through online teaching. So, as you may have studied before, that we have studied the force, and if you remember that we said the force equal mass multiplied by acceleration. Okay, so today we are going to talk about a new concept of motion. Okay, moment. Okay, moment is known as the amount or the quantity of motion. So I'm just trying to imagine that I have a mass, and this mass can just transfer some kind of motion. Okay, so in the beginning, the first one who thought about this concept was Newton, and Newton called this as the amount or the quantity of motion included in the body. So everybody, anything has its motion because it can move. It can just try. If you are going to displace a certain object from one position to another, you are going to exert some kind of quantity of motion in this body. Okay, but now we are not calling this as the quantity of motion because this was a very old-fashioned name. Okay, today we are going we are using a very modern name for this. We are using the concept of momentum. Okay, so instead of just calling this as the quantity of motion, we are using the concept of the quantity or the momentum. Okay, so quantity of motion is equal to the momentum. Okay, so momentum is a very characteristic property for the object. What do we mean by that? Okay, so every body, since every body will has, or every object will have a certain amount of mass, so with this amount of mass, it will just be occupied by, it will just be combined by some kind of uh, momentum. Okay, so it means if you have a body, this body has a specific kind of mass, so the result of this will be it has, okay, a certain amount of momentum. Okay, so for everybody, if you have any kind of object, okay, which has a mass, in the same place it has a mass, it will have some kind of momentum. Okay, but what are the mathematical equation we are using to describe or to just try to speak about the momentum? Okay, so the relation we are going to talk about, the mathematical equation to describe the momentum, is as it follows. Okay, I have here, this is P, this is my momentum, so I'm describing this is my momentum. Okay, and my momentum will equal to, okay, the mass multiplied by velocity. Okay, you already knew from the beginning that the unit of mass is kilograms, so I'm using kilogram as a unit to describe the mass. Okay, sometimes I can use also the gram because this is a unit for the mass, but for a very small part objects. Okay, but for a normal object, this is the standard unit. Okay, this is our standard unit we are using. We are describing the unit of mass in kilogram, and the unit of length in meter, and the unit of time in second. Okay, and you may remember that the velocity can be measured by meter per second. Okay, so those are the two standard units for using or for describing the mass and velocity of any object. Okay, so you can just try to predict now what would be the case for to describe the unit. Okay, the unit of mass and volume. Okay, the unit of mass and volume will be kilogram multiplied by meter over second. Okay, so means I have kilogram kilogram multiplied by meter over second, okay? This is my standard unit to describe the momentum of any object, okay? I will ask you a question now, okay? You may have studied something we call it the dimension analysis, okay? What do we mean by dimension analysis? We are describing, okay, the everything around us in this unit, okay? MLT. So what will be the standard unit, okay, or the dimension analysis for the momentum in this way? I have mass, so I will just describe this as a M, okay? And I have meter, so I will just describe this as a L over T, so I will just describe this as a T minus 1, okay? So this will be the dimension analysis for the momentum. So now we have two things, we know three things about the momentum now, okay? Don't forget it, okay? Just we have the equation, the mathematical equation we are using to describe the momentum, which is equal to mass multiplied by velocity. The second thing we are going to describe about the momentum is the unit. What kind of unit we are using to measure the momentum, which is kilogram multiplied by meter over second. This is a unit, okay? And just try to differentiate between what we mean by the unit and the dimension analysis, okay? Dimension analysis is equal to mass multiplied by the length over time, or time minus 1, time to the power minus 1, okay? Those are the units I'm using to describe the three important, and regardless of what you are going to teach to understand about physics, you must keep in your mind this concept to understand, to know, for example, if you are going to introduce yourself, you are going to introduce